In Part 4 of the 2020 Canes opponent preview series, we'll preview the Clemson Tigers, our opponent, October 13th, up in Clemson out of a bye week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make no mistake. This is the gold standard of college football right now, one of the elites of college football. These guys have been in national championship games many times in recent years. They've been to the mountaintop before. They've played for the chance to get to the top of the mountain. Well, now 2020 is a very different time for many reasons. Well, now let's start looking at the Clemson offense that Dabo brings back. You know about Sunshine Trevor Lawrence. He's looking to go to the title game for the third straight year. Year 1 to year 2, he threw for 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns in 2019. Both were in the top 10 of FBS football. He threw 8 picks, though, 5 of them in the first 3 weeks. But they have a real field general in Lawrence. With T. Higgins off to the league and Justin Ross out for the year, they're going to have Amari Rogers, Joseph Nada, Frank Lasseter, Cornell Paul as the primary targets, as long as junior tight end Braden Galloway. So they are loaded. Not to mention the add E.J. Williams in there. But they're going to have a big void on that O-line. They lose 4 starters from last year. But they do get left tackle Jackson Carman. And he has a potential to be a very high pick in the league next year. Running back, you're going to get ETN back for senior year. But they're very deep there with Lynn J. Dixon, Michelle Dukes, Ches Maluzzi. So they get a 5-star freshman in Bowman and senior Darian Rencher. They're loaded at running back. Let's make no mistake. They are loaded. They're one of the best in college football. They averaged 44 a game last year, which was 4th in the country. And 7,900 yards was second only to LSU. They converted 80 of 181 on third down, 27th nationally. Red zone were 40th. When you look at that offense, they allowed just 18 sacks all year. And that O-line was elite. But if there's an opening to get to Sunshine, that's going to be here. On defense, many pieces are now in the league, but they're still loaded. Don't know if Xavier Thomas is coming back, and they have an up-and-coming prospect in K.J. Henry. And they have Foster and Murphy back in the mix. They got Pinckney and Taylor on the interior of that D-line, along with DeMonte Capehart and Justin Maskell for depth purposes. And they have a recruit freshman, Brian Breezy, who they can use many ways. At linebacker, let me tell you, they're going to have a big task in replacing Isaiah Simmons. They'll have Sklowski back on the inside after recording 90 tackles a year ago, which was second on their team. Valen Spector, Jake Venables, and Mike Jones will have a good rotation on the outside. In the back end, they're getting a complete overhaul. A.J. Terrell, Kevon Wallace, and Tanner Muse are gone to the league. But they get Darian Kendrick back, and Nolan Turner will come in at safety. They get Mario Goodrich and Andrew Booth that are expected to step up in big roles. Venables is going to have another solid defense. Let's make no mistake. And he coaches one of the best defensive coaches, if not one of the best assistants in the country. Maybe one of the best defensive coaches ever. They were one of the best last year. They allowed 13.5 points a game, 3rd nationally, and 11th best on third down conversion rate. Opponents did not convert a lot on third downs. Their pass efficiency was 2nd nationally, and they forced 30 turnovers. But on the back end, it's going to be there's a weakness there. But they're gonna get better on the D line, and they have one of the best. And with Venables, you know that they might be elite again this year. Of the 30 turnovers, 11 fumble recoveries and 22 picks. On special teams, they're below average there. Their net punting is 35th in the country. They get B.T. Potter back after inconsistent last year. He converted all his extra points, but just 13 to 21 on field goals. But especially when it goes 50 plus, he was 3 for 3. Now, while you see them in the preseason poll, they're heavy favorites to win it again. We all know that. And you know their schedule, Notre Dame, November 7th, and South Bend's the big one. But, of course, from our perspective, let's make absolutely no mistake, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be maybe the biggest game in Manny's tenure to date. We know what we're up against. This is the litmus test right then and there. One, out of a bye week where we struggled mightily last year, 0 for 3 in that regard. And 2, you have to look at where is Miami mentally after the meltdown, the final 3 games of last year. FIU, of course, you know the FIU debacle. Duke on the road, and of course the Independence Bowl fiasco against La Tech. Where is Miami mentally? Where are the Canes? How much has Miami improved under Manny? We're going to know October 10th when we go up to Clemson. But for Clemson, I look at that schedule, I can easily see them running the table again. I could see them maybe going 12-0, 11-12-0. Going to Charlotte, to be quite honest. They are loaded and they are elite. So I could see them running the table there. In part 5 of the 2020 Canes opponent preview series, we will preview next the Virginia Cavaliers. The Pitt Panthers.